Mysterious people never fail to intrigue us, but the 5 people we're going to talk about in this video are going to have us question interdimensional traveling. Counting from number 5, the man from Torrid. On a summer day in 1954, a businessman arrived in Japan on an inbound flight from a country called Torrid. It was a place that simply did not exist. The unexplainable case had investigators think that he is indeed an interdimensional traveler. The story goes as a well-dressed man holding a fancy leather briefcase approaches the passport control. The man told the officer that he was visiting on business, and the officer didn't have a reason to not believe him. But when he handed his passport, things began to take a somewhat bizarre turn. He presented an official-looking document of an impeccable condition, which had travel stamps from several other countries including Japan. What struck them as odd, however, was his country of origin, proudly inscribed on his passport in bold letters as torrid. None of the officials recognized this country, so the officers thought he was a fraud. They took him into a small room for investigation. They verified his passport was a real deal, and he also presented currency banknotes issued by his homeland, which did not look fake in any way. Based on these findings, they brought him a map and asked him to pinpoint where his country is. The man seemed confused, but he confidently pointed to where Andorra is today. When the official searched it up, Torrid was a kingdom located exactly where the man said, thousands of years ago. The man was confused about the investigation and claimed that he had visited many countries including Japan in the past 5 years and never encountered any problems. Since the officials were suspicious about his case, they had him stay at a hotel and assigned guards to watch him. When they knocked on his room the day after, they couldn't find any trace of him. It would have been impossible for him to escape through the window, as he was on the 7th floor. To make matter even stranger, the man's documents such as his checkbook, passport, and driver's license had also disappeared from the airport's security room. Moving to number 4, the Babushka Lady. One of the most infamous moments in modern history is the assassination of John F. Kennedy. The assassination took place in 1963 in Dallas, Texas, while he was riding in a motorcade shortly after noon. Crowds had gathered to wave to the Kennedys as they drove by. As the car turned off the main street at Dealey Plaza, gunshots were fired. John F. Kennedy was struck in the head and the neck, and by 1 p.m. he was pronounced dead. Following, police arrested Lee Harvey Oswald for the assassination, but when Oswald was being transferred to the county jail, a man at point-blank range shot him and took his life. The mysterious event has gone down in the history books as one of the most important unsolved mysteries. Did Oswald really do it? Did he act alone? Perhaps one of the people who would have an answer is a woman that was present in every photograph of the investigation. Lady Babushka name was given to the woman seen on the photographs wearing a headscarf. Her behavior was remarkably strange. While others were running to cover from the gunshots, she remained standing, unfazed. The photographs suggest that she was filming what was happening, and after she finished shooting, she crossed the street and joined the rest of the crowd. The Babushka Lady has appeared in other civilian photographs and films from the day, but none show her face well enough for her to be identified. It's been at least 50 years since JFK was assassinated, and still no one knows where she was or where she disappeared. Some said that she was a Russian spy. Some even think that she was the murderer, and the camera she was using was actually a gun. The Babushka could have been also a man in disguise, dressed as a woman to conceal. Her strange white masculine stance was evidence enough for some that she was actually a male. Going to number 3, the $200,000 hijack. There is only one man in the US history who hijacked a plane and got away with it. In 1971, a man called Dan Cooper hijacked a Boeing 727 between Oregon and Washington. He extorted $200,000 in cash from the passengers, which is equivalent to around $1 million today. After he got the cash, he filled it up in a backpack, strapped it around his body, and proceeded to parachute out of the plane. Some speculate that surviving such a fall with so much weight strapped to the body is impossible. Cooper has never been found, living or dead.
but the FBI has pursued this case relentlessly and went over approximately 1,000 suspects. But the real Vancouver, till this day, has not been found. This robbery is a rare example of a perfect crime.
Going to number 2, Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper terrorized East London for 12 weeks in 1888. He did most of his work in the slums of East London in a district called Whitechapel, which is why a lot of people also called him the Whitechapel Murderer. It's thought that he could have killed 11 people, but police reports only confirmed 5. The victims sometimes had their throats slashed and internal organs removed. The Ripper either could have been a local who worked 9 to 5, or he was an educated man, possibly a doctor, who targeted victims in a lower class neighborhood. The Ripper was suspected of being a doctor because of the mutilation of his victims' organs, sometimes kidneys and sometimes genitals. It appeared to suggest that he was surgically trained. Hundreds of letters were sent to law enforcement and the media by that time, some claiming to be from the Ripper, others offering advice on how to catch him. Many of these letters were believed to have been sent by journalists posing as the Ripper. Even though police never figured out exactly who he was, there were definitely suspects, but till today, people are not certain about the Ripper's identity.
Finally, number 1, the Zodiac Killer. A serial killer who copied the best. The serial killer was following the behavior of a previously mentioned Jack the Ripper. He terrorized California in the 1960s, and he mainly targeted couples who were parked in cars or located in otherwise secluded areas. He was smart and always prepared when it came to stalking his targets and hiding his fingerprints. The Zodiac Killer always wore a black executioner hood to cover his face so no one could identify him. Zodiac Killer communicated with the police departments in ciphers. He sometimes demanded his ciphers to be printed on the newspaper's front page, or else he'd commit more murders. He teased, taunted, and bragged about the huge number of people he had killed without being caught. The California police never managed to catch the killer, nor figure out who he actually was. The Zodiac Killer claimed to have killed 37 people, although 7 was the number that the police confirmed. If you liked the video, please drop the like button and comment below. Thank you for watching.